All right, hello there. Today we're still working on this thing. So I did some work. I'm not going to do any work in this video. I'm just going to talk about what I did because I feel like sometimes lately it's been working better that way because I'm really just doing a whole lot of welding, and that's probably kind of boring for a lot of people to just watch welding all the time. So let's talk about what happened. Last couple of videos I finished up the cold side piping. That's all the way good, all the way up to the front. No blow-off valve, but just gonna run it straight in. No intercooler, but I will be doing probably a air-to-water intercooler later, right in this spot. I'd like to maybe test the difference between the air-to-air. I thought about even doing my air-to-air right back in this spot where it was, and then testing the difference between the air-to-water. I'm really curious mainly to see what the difference between no intercooler and air-to-air would be with like a cheap eBay $70 intercooler, because I don't think that thing worked very well before because I still had really high intake temps on the old turbo setup, like 200 degrees, but I'd like to maybe test it a little bit. So completely finished welding up all this stuff. I did add a O2 sensor bung there for the wideband. I'm going to run the wideband back there. Finished up the dump valve. So I have the 3-inch loud valve. It's like an eBay brand exhaust cutout valve. I shouldn't say loud valve because loud valve is actually a brand that sells these. This is just a cheaper eBay version. And then I went back and what I did was I added on, this is a flange that I had that's like a piece of stock 350Z exhaust, and I cut this when I did the swap on the 350Z, and that went back to my exhaust, so I chopped that, reused it, and I'm just coming out on a 90 just because I don't really care about the exhaust flow when it's just cruising. So I went back, pulled some stuff out of the scrap pile. It was like 2 in the morning and I didn't have any tubing, so I pulled this chunk of, it's literally a piece of fence post, I think, and welded that guy in there. And this is going to get pretty ugly on the backside. So what I did here was I reused some more of the 350Z piping that I did with the aluminized, and then I went back to my old crossover pipe that was on the old turbo setup on this truck, chopped it up, kept the flex pipe, and then just went back this way. So this is all the old crossover pipe. This used to be all nice aluminized tubing, but I had it heat wrapped and I was driving it in the snow a lot, so it got wet and then started to rust. Here's the muffler that I have. I'm not planning on keeping this muffler at all. So I found this muffler on Facebook Marketplace and it was like 20 bucks or something. Like locally, it was a block away from the house. It's from a Dodge Ram. So I figured, hell, maybe it'll fit, and got it home, started to blast it in there, and it's a little too big, so I'm not going to keep it. So I don't really care about any of the tubing that was going up to the front because I'm planning on chopping that all off and cutting and re-welding it. I'd like to do something that fits nicer up inside the spare tire well there. That would be a lot better, and I'd get it up off the ground a little bit more. Also, that valve that I have up in the front, it is a vacuum actuated valve. Some of you guys know that I talked about in a previous video, but it's not a boost valve. So I might get a boost actuated valve, which means I would have to cut that whole section off and re-weld one on anyways. As you can see, the valve is closed right now, but I have it on the Mighty Vac, and I have it on about 10 inches of vacuum. So about 10-12 inches of vacuum, it's completely closed. So this is what I'm going to do right now just to test it. I want to start it up and run it and see what it sounds like. So let's do that, and then maybe I'll come over and pop the thing open so we can hear what the exhaust sounds like. So let's get going on that. And so I don't have an exhaust gasket up in the passenger side because I took it off and I just had the manifold fitted on there. So there's only 2 bolts holding the passenger side in with no gasket. So that's going to make a little noise. I'll start it up and then I'll go and crack the valve so you can see the difference between the muffler and no muffler. And I'm just going to let the turbo spin. Because who cares, right? interesting. I opened the valve, it died. Let's try that again. Probably might be kind of hard to tell in the video, but it actually does make quite a significant difference. It'll be a lot better when the gasket is in on the passenger side up there. So that's kind of the update. Should be done in like hopefully a day or two.